and gentlemen, podcasting since 2005, you were listening to Gamertag Radio with your hosts Godfrey, Pete Rock, Paris, Pasta. Come on. Yeah.
Welcome to Gamertag Radio. This is your host, Danny, a.k.a. Godfrey. And let's start off with this person that he is basically broke since he's been playing Powerball. Pete, what's going on, Pete?
Man, I couldn't quit my job today. Nothing. I'm so mad.
Same here. Well, I don't know if this person is broke or not. Are you broke? Let's go with Paris. Paris, are you broke?
No, I'm not broke, but today we're recording this on January 14th is my 5-year anniversary of killing Fat Paris. This is the day he died.
Oh my God, you're a murderer, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But I'm proud of you, man. Not because you killed Paris, but but it's basically but it's good that you've been still, eating healthy. Only when you hang out with us, that's when you start eating.
And that's true. Actually, all jokes aside, I only eat bad when I hang out with Pete.
Pete, bad influence, man.
Because you spill water all over my brand new monitor. I hate you.
Because I've been doing like the no sugar thing and all that. Been good and all that. The one day I slipped was last week when he was out here when we saw The Division. That was it. We went to Fat. We went to Fat Sal's and they had the Philly cheesesteaks and Korean joint. Oh my goodness, I couldn't resist.
So
and also new PC gamer, Boston J. What's going on, man?
Feels good, man. You gotta make me a little hungry listening to this right now. I gotta say, like your descriptions, Paris. I'm sad I missed out on that food, but other than that, I'm doing good. I'm kind of mad I didn't buy a Powerball ticket last night. But I guess, not throwing away $2 is for the best, but still feel like I missed out on that. But, oh well, money to look forward to spend on, hopefully Master Race stuff like new keyboard, new mouse, all that 9-yard stuff. Got to think about upgrading all the components. But other than that, I'm doing great.
Nice.
Loving the January, the coldness. I've enjoyed this for a little bit and hopefully it gets back to the spring.
Is it cold around your area?
It's like the 50s. It's a normal weather. It's not
it's like us.
It's like the bizarre weather we had earlier in the year where it was like the 70s or whatever. But it's just average cold weather, so it's nothing bad at all. It's what I'm used to. More time to stay indoors and play awesome video games, right?
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. And what about you, Paris? Is it colder weather in your area or not really?
It was for a little bit, but it's starting to warm back up because it's been raining. El Nino is coming through, so it's been raining a lot. Because that was the funny thing when Pete came, he came right in the middle of the storm of the century. Like 3 days before, it was just storm and everyone out here losing their damn minds. Then it didn't rain the one day Pete was here, and then it started raining again, and everyone started losing their minds again.
Oh
That's
man,
right.
Pete, you got to do that again, man.
I brought the goods.
Head over to GamertagRadio.com or head over to play.it. You can listen to our past episodes or give us a call, 786-273-7GTR. That's 786-273-7GTR. Or email us, fanmail@gamertagradio.com. This week, we have 2 episodes, of course, Monday and Thursdays, but also we're going to be having fan mail. So I'm going to be playing some couple questions here for this episode and an interview that Patrick recorded during PlayStation Experience. Patrick, I believe, is Tricky Towers.
Tricky Towers.
So that's the one I'm
yes.
going to play for this week.
But no, I was just going to say Tricky Towers is really cool because it's like a combination of Tetris and I guess you would compare it with what? I don't know. It was like a Smash Brothers mentality of 4 players. Everyone's trying to build their own tower, but you have like physics in the way. So it's like you can't build perfectly straight. You kind of have to adjust to the lean of gravity. It's a lot of fun. It's like a combination of Jenga, essentially. Jenga and Tetris. But Tricky Towers, it was a cool interview. I'm looking forward to the full game. We need more, simple, fun games like this. I was surprised of how base of a concept of it is, but then you play it with your buddies, and it's a really good time. So,
awesome.
Gotta check it out.
And, P and Paris, that were in the West Coast playing The Division.
Yep.
And I listened to the audio, man. I have to say, man, great job, you guys, asking those pretty good questions, especially Paris at the end. You kind of like tricked him. I don't know if it was me. He kind of did like this slick question to the creative director.
I did, because, and I don't know if Pete remembers this or not, but when we're sitting there, the one PR person that was there with the shout out to Scott, I asked it. And he looked at me, and he kind of gave me the look like, "Oh, I see what you're doing."
That's dope.
But
That's
the reason I did that was because I wanted to make sure to get the point across that with games like this, with these living, breathing world games that are it's constantly evolving, they got to properly set up channels to communicate with the community. Because it's the community that's going to shape how that game moves forward. Because look, it's not going to be perfect day one. We know that. But what will it be 6 months down the road? What will it be a year down the road? That's going to be shaped by feedback from the community. So as long as they're listening to the community and they get timely updates in there, that makes sense, then I think the Division should be fine.
It worked for Destiny, based on feedback here and there. No?
Sometimes not. Look, you know what's funny? I started playing Destiny again, but I'm still grumpy with Destiny because they're doing some dumb stuff right now that I don't like. But again, that comes down to listening to the community. So that's something they need to do too.
Okay. Patrick, you want to ask any questions to these guys about the Division before we go to the next topic?
Yeah, I mean, what was your biggest takeaway? I mean, and Pete, did this live up to your fantasy of how good the alpha was? Is it similar to the alpha, or did you guys play anything that was like mind blowing to the point where you think this can change people's minds on this game? Because if people listen to the past stuff, I'm so on the fence about this game. I'm just really curious, like, what did you see based on what you played? Like, it was things we've seen before, or what?
So I think I detailed this in the roundtable with Paris. The first part of what we played was pretty much the alpha. I didn't see anything different other than more people that we were playing with, when we went into like the dark zone, because it was starting off at the same level. Everybody started off at level 4, going through the motions of unlocking, the main base, etc. It wasn't until after that, when we took a short break and they ramped up the game to level 20, where you got to see a lot of the fun, because you have a lot more access to more weapons, armor, your skills and your abilities and your perks are expanded. So you have more things that you can, more combinations you could do. Since I had played the alpha and Paris hadn't, this was Paris's first hands-on experience with it. I pretty much let him hold, the reins on the game just so he can experience it, from both perspectives. I didn't get a chance to touch the level 20 stuff. So me personally, it just gave me a chance to play the alpha, which is all I really wanted to do again.
You just added to it already, so you're sold at this point.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, absolutely.
I would just say from my perspective, and I mentioned this on the roundtable as well, I just think they're going to have a loot problem. I still don't see what is going to be that golden carrot that's going to have me coming back again and again to chase it. Could be wrong, but I'm not seeing it currently. I mean, they still obviously have some things up their sleeve to announce. And I also see this being skewed more as a PvP game, more so than a PvE game. But hey, again, we'll see.
Okay. That's interesting.
Okay. Do you think they're hiding a lot of stuff? Because, Bungie did the same exact thing.
Well, that's my point. I hope they are. Because I'll say it like this. From what I played, yeah, it's something I would be interested in, and it's something I want to play, but I don't see me getting addicted to it like I would with Borderlands or Destiny or something like that. I see me playing it for a while, getting up to level 30, and then just jumping in every now and again with my friends kind of thing. Not something that I'm going to just consistently grind on because I'm trying to get that next piece of loot. Again, that's my whole point. I just don't see the incentive for me to want to keep jumping back in for loot. It would have to just be the PvP experience.
Okay.
Interesting.
Would you consider the game fun at its base level? Like, would you still have a good time? Okay,
it's a good third person shooter. Absolutely. And
okay, so mechanically, it's fine. You have worries about the end game of what's going to keep you coming back, other than playing with you. Okay,
yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. I'm curious now. I'm gonna have to try it with you guys. I know we're gonna play it together when it launch, but I'm just curious. Is there even still a plot? Do we know that at this point? Is there still a storyline to this? Okay,
absolutely. Yeah, there's a major story arc, and it actually intersects with PvP
Oh, that's good to hear. Okay.
Yeah, so it's all encompassing. The storyline moves, unlike the other D word. It moves back and forth. It moves back and forth between the PvE and the PvP. You might have a chance at the beginning. Actually, I think the rumor is the end of this month. They might unveil the beta for all platforms: PC, PS4, and Xbox One. It's still a rumor, so don't take this for truth anything yet, but there's a chance if we do get a chance to get into the alpha or into the beta. Sorry, I have no problem helping shepherding you through it. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Definitely, I'll play the beta if it's available.
And I'll say this one final thing. There's still a couple embargoes, but they're at next week. There's a couple more things we'll be able to talk about. I'll put it that way.
Correct.
All right.
Very cool.
All right, so we're gonna go with fan mail because I have like three questions and stuff. So I'm gonna play a couple right now. But Pete, you ready? Are you prepared? Your voice is good.
No.
Oh, okay. All right, here goes. And fan mail.
Fan mail at gamertagradio.com.
Fan mail.
Sounds decent. Decent.
It's
You gotta practice.
No,
you gotta practice.
We're good. I did it
All right.
into one mic and not the other. So.
All right, so I'm going to play this first voicemail. This is from all the way from the UK. We're going to play it right now.
Hi guys, it's Dave here from the UK. Happy New Year, first off. Here's to a good 2016. I'm full of cold at the moment, so I probably sound a bit bunged up and stuff. My question is really, I was thinking about this the other day, and I just wondered what your guys' thoughts were on the Xbox One's lifespan, and in particular the impact that this console generation is going to have on it. So I'm sure Microsoft had maybe 7 to 10 year plan for Xbox One. With the PS4 being so dominant in this console generation in terms of sales, I'm just wondering if you guys think that Microsoft are going to be happy with that and stick to their plan that they had for the Xbox One, or, in my opinion, whether they're going to expedite the introduction of the next Xbox and potentially shorten the Xbox One's life cycle. The reason I was thinking that was that, the only way I see Microsoft getting ahead of the next PlayStation is to get out early and to get out ahead of the next PlayStation, similar to how they were able to do that with the Xbox 360. And some of that was due to Sony's delays, but they got out early and they were able to build up a big kind of lead over the PS3. Like I say, personally, I think that's the only way Microsoft can get ahead on the PlayStation, because the PlayStation brand's so strong at the moment. But I was just interested in your thoughts on whether you think whether you agree, or whether you think Microsoft are happy with how Xbox is going, because as we all know, the Xbox One is doing well on its own right. It's just in comparison to the PlayStation 4 sales, that's where it's lagging behind. So yeah, that was what it was. I'd be interested in your thoughts, all you guys, Paris, Danny, Patrick, and Pete. I welcome all your thoughts on this one, particularly Paris, because I always seem to agree with Paris's points or think the same way. So it'd be interesting to see what Paris has to say on this one. All right, cheers, guys. Thanks. Bye.
I mean, what do you guys think about the question about the lifespan of the Xbox One? Is it going to last 10 years if they have planned for 10 years? Is it going to be shorter than that because maybe they want to release the next console to compete with Sony?
I see it as an issue. I do think we're going to have a shorter turnaround for the next PlayStation, Xbox than we're used to, just because that's the nature of the changing pace of technology. Things get faster, processors get smaller, consumers want more. Obviously, a lot of people are going to PC gaming now, but still it's not going to be the majority to carry any sales away from PlayStation and Xbox. So for me, I'm enjoying my Xbox One. I'm going to continue to enjoy my Xbox One, especially this year with some new exclusives coming out. But at this point, I don't even know if I want the next Xbox. It would have to be something either radically different or have some amazing exclusivity lineup that we don't know yet. And it can't just be, you know, the next Halo, the next Gears, the next Call of Duty, whatever. It has to be like, you know, let's start fresh, some new groundwork. But at this point, you know, as I start dabble into PC gaming, Xbox, PlayStation, I'm playing more 3DS as well. I'll probably get Nintendo's next console. So my time is being divvied up so much. It really comes down to you have to show me something new IP-wise that's just so incredible. And if for some reason I can't get it on PC, then I'd probably buy a console for it. But at this point, I'd like to see the next Xbox sooner than later. But I really hope they kind of, you know, I don't know what they'd have to do. I kind of wish I was sitting in those boardrooms meetings thinking about what do we have to put in to make our product stand out. Obviously, they had the missed opportunity with the launch of the One, with the wording of some of this digital era only. Obviously, we're heading in that future. I'm just really curious, do they have anything up their sleeves? Or is this clearly a case of they're just going to ride the Xbox One until it's done and then make the successor? I would hope they're already planning in advance to have some amazing game plan. And they're not just going to play catch up with Sony for the next couple of years, because no one wants to see that. We want both of them to be competitive with each other. So it's really, I'm really unsure right now, but it's going to be interesting to see.
I know, like, it worked for them when they released the Xbox 360.
Yes.
Came out a year earlier than the PlayStation 3.
That was a good move at that time.
That was a good move, and it felt next gen. I remember, like, if like this, I know we had a conversation about that a couple times when the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 came out. You know, it didn't feel like when the Xbox 360 came out, like that graphically. You know what I'm saying? So, but Pete, Paris, you want to say anything else about this, or you want to move on?
I'm gonna kind of want to agree. I think Microsoft wants to rid itself of this negative publicity it's gotten as a result of the Xbox One and everything. They're doing a great job towards repairing that trust, that good feeling with the consumers. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if they're already working on something to just try to, you know, ease that pain with the consumer.
I mean, they're doing good. I mean, they're not.
Like I said, yeah, I just said it.
They're not doing bad with sales.
They're working. They're doing a great job of fixing the pain points that the consumers and the gamers have been crying about since that last E3 when they announced it. But knowing the way Microsoft works and their concepts of image. And, you know, not wanting to be second. No, but again, nobody wants to be second place, although it's a good place to be because not as many eyes are on you. But again, this is Microsoft, so you're going to have as many, if not more, eyes on you simply because of the name.
And you, Paris, before we go to the next question?
Well, I disagree with all of you because
Of course you do.
Okay, let's move on. I don't. I disagree because what I think is going to happen is I'm staring at the NPD numbers for December and for 2015 right now. The Xbox One has sold in a vacuum. The Xbox One is sold at an all-time record pace, right? If you take Sony out of the equation, they have zero incentive to want to rush another piece of hardware out and get a whole nother development cycle going and all that. Why do it? There's really no point for them to do it. Yeah, they're second place. Phil Spencer has come out and admitted that they're second place. They're not going to catch Sony in this generation, but I don't see the urgency for them to try and rush into a new hardware cycle. It honestly doesn't make sense because if it's still selling the way it is, when you look back, the Xbox One is going to be considered a success, right? So they're already on the right path of getting these exclusive games. They're changing the image from launch, and they'll just run with it. Sony did the same thing last generation. They had these same problems with the PlayStation 3, but by the end of the generation, the PlayStation 3 was considered a quality gaming console, and it had some quality games on it. So it's going to be the same thing with Microsoft this time. It's just the roles are going to be reversed.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
You're listening to Gamertag Radio.
All right, let's go with the next question. This is from Keith. Well, actually, this is not a question. This is more like a feedback for Paris. This is from Keith.
Uh-oh.
You know what I'm
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't. I just feedback.
It's good. It's good. It's not bad. It's not good. It's not bad. He was like, hey, he usually doesn't listen to interview emails, but Paris, thank you for that question about Tomb Raider. I think it's the one he's talking about with Aaron Greenberg into it. Yeah, nice way to get the truth out. I feel that he danced around the question and justified it, even though it was clearly a bad idea. Thanks, guys. Keep up the great work. Do you think that Aaron danced around, didn't answer your question, Paris?
If Aaron is listening to this, because allegedly he listens all the time, yeah, he danced around it, but as I expected him to dance around it. He did the best job that he possibly could in answering that question. Because look, I know there was someone on Twitter or whatever, they got mad at me because they thought I was being rude by the way that I asked that question or whatever. But look at it this way, it's something we'd been talking about for months before the game even came out, and we were talking about post-launch. And then we started to see all the rumors and just the numbers that were leaking out about the sales. I felt it was a very fair question because you put that game up against, according to the NPD numbers, the number 3 selling game in 2015, period. Look, he without admitting it fully, he basically admitted it. Hey, it was a lessons learned for them. Maybe next time they won't do something like that. And that's all I was trying to get to. Again, the game itself, the reviews are off the charts. It's winning Game of the Year awards, the whole thing. That is not the issue at all. It's just they put it in a position to where it couldn't shine to its fullest. That's all.
Yeah. And I think that for those that said that it was like you being rude, like asking those questions to Aaron, I think Aaron likes that. Aaron likes that we ask those type of questions like that because that makes him how would I say this, like it pushed the whole team to do better, like when it comes to questions and feedback, they love that. So
here's how I look at it. And I was telling a friend this offline the other day. These companies, they don't want you're the greatest. They don't want to hear that all the time. They want to hear what they're doing wrong so they can fix it, right?
Yeah, I totally agree.
And I'm saying you need to be an a-hole to express that, but you can in a respectful way saying, hey, I didn't like what you did with this and here's why. And then they can take that feedback and use it as constructive criticism. That's all. And again, like you said, Aaron's been on this podcast so many times. I know he doesn't take offense to any of the stuff that we says, and he tells us as such. He wants to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Mm-hmm. All right, so here's another voicemail all the way from Puerto Rico. Let's play right now.
What up, Gamertag Radio? It's the star that always shines, Boricua Star again. Well, guys, you're doing a lot of great work on the podcast. Keep it up. But, as you may all know, or everybody, there might be people that don't know, I live in Puerto Rico. And yesterday we got a very bad news. A GameStop, all of the GameStop stores in Puerto Rico are closing by March, by the end of March. There are like 40 stores that are closing down. It's a big shock. Over 400 employers are getting unemployed, are back to the streets, and it's really, really sad. It's impacting our economy. It was due to high taxes and different situations with our government. And it's a sad story because it's affecting our local community. The mom and dads that are going to buy the Christmas gifts. They see GameStop as a place where, it's basically a store for video games. I mean, we still got Best Buy, we got Walmart, we got Kmart, but maybe there's something else, I know their taxes, their excises, but this might be a storm that's heading up, guys, a storm that we all been looking, we've been thinking, but it's reaching us really, really fast. It might be the digital era that's affecting the physical mediums. They're affecting everything. So just to, downsize, I know there've been downsizing in the United States also on the stores on the United States, but, it's a shocker we can't buy on GameStop. Me personally, I buy them from other places, Amazon Prime, which has, there are different offers now with a 20% discount for pre-orders and new releases. So, but still, it affects all of gamers. But digital is everywhere. Digital is basically everywhere, and we can just purchase it through our consoles. So, just want to know your opinion about it. or maybe a reaction about this. It's just that all of a sudden, yesterday we knew that GameStop is no more in Puerto Rico, and it might come to the United States, and may they disappear at all. So just want to know your opinion. Okay, guys? Boricua signing out. Take care, guys. Keep up the good work.
Wow, it's like the end of the world over there, man. No GameStop in Puerto Rico.
Is GameStop that big of a deal down there? I don't know if do they have other options for brick and mortar. Obviously, he listed some of the larger stores out there, but I'm just curious if they have other specialized gaming stores in Puerto Rico. And are people outraged? Is he the representative of that, or because I can't imagine if he's say for tomorrow, if GameStop went out of business in America, would people flip out, or would he kind of be like?
I'd go to Amazon,
right?
I'd go to Amazon to get my 20% off with Amazon Prime. That's what I'm
Prime member. Yeah,
I'm just curious. I'd love to hear anyone else from Puerto Rico has a response. The other side of this response to spectrum. But I feel like if this had happened 10 years ago, it'd be a big deal. But I feel like we've come so far with digital downloads in 10 years now that it's the norm. And now you're really only the collector if you go out of your way to buy physical items anymore. I still see the value in having stores like GameStop if you actually hire knowledgeable people that, parents can talk to about the content of a game or if a game is worth the $60. But, because they don't hire based on that credentials, you're not going to get that everywhere. So it's kind of hit and miss. I don't know. I don't mourn the loss of GameStop in Puerto Rico. I would just hope that people are more informed than ever now because, really, I think in 2016, with the internet at your disposal, you should know everything about a game before you spend your $60 on it. You have every single avenue you can think of. You can literally watch people play the entire game on YouTube for free to see if you think you'd have fun with that. So hopefully people already kind of made their decisions of what games they want versus which games they don't want versus which games I'll wait for that to be $5 on a Steam sale. But yeah, if other people out there, if you've lost your local GameStop or your only, video game outlet, does it bother you? I'm just curious what the feedback would be from people.
Here's the sad part is people losing their jobs. That's to me is like the worst part of the whole news, But there is retail stores that, let's say they can't download these games digitally. They could go to, Amazon, buy them online through there, or, like he said, Walmart and other stores and stuff. So I don't know, man. Is this the end for GameStop though? Like,
it's not. No, not in America.
For the
at
States,
not for the States.
Slowly,
yes.
If we still continue supporting like digital downloads, which I think more and more people have been doing that, I think it's gonna hurt a lot of retailers, man.
I think as long as the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 3 era of used games stay strong like it has been for years, GameStop will stay in business. But I think the moment we start getting into everything is next generation, everything's high def, everything's 4K, everything's virtual reality, everything's download only, then GameStop's in trouble in 10 years. But I don't think we're at blockbuster levels of danger yet. Don't sell all your stock just now. But yeah, they're on their way out, I would say. But in the States, there's just too many, like, I don't want to call them casual gamers. I guess the core gamer, you would call them. The one that doesn't have the disposable income to spend $100 every month and instead can wait a couple of months for a game to go use and be cheap. They're fine because of that. Because, I've been to other stores that tried to do, used games, and it's a mess. They're all they're sitting in a box thrown together. You can't ask an employee about it because they don't know anything about it at all. So GameStop still has value, at least in the States, from what I've seen. Because I've been to the ones around me. They still have good people that work there that care about what they sell. But that's just not the case in retail. Is the norm. This is specialized instances in my experience.
So GameStop released a press release just a few days ago, literally before the news of this hit. They had a close to 5% increase globally. Actually, it's 4.5% globally, 5% increase nearly in the United States, 3.2% internationally. They're not hurting for money. They did nearly $3 billion in global sales over the holiday period alone, compared to last year. Let's put that into perspective. Nearly $3 billion with a B. Okay, 1.5, about 50% of the Powerball that I didn't win. Foreign currency exchange rates reduced the total sales to almost 120 million. They're not hurting for money. This is just because of shipping and taxes in Puerto Rico. It's just not a viable market for them anymore, where they're not going to see future growth. So there's always going to be a bad person in this type of situation. And yes, they have to close the stores, which means there's going to be, a lot of people unemployed. And as a result, at the end of the day, like you said, the worst part of this is that there's going to be people losing jobs over this, not plastic things that we play with.
Very true. All right. Guys, Unravel's coming out pretty soon.
Who?
Is it Unravel?
Unravel. Yes.
Yeah.
The game we're all in love with.
I'm excited for that game, man.
Who is it? How could you show that to somebody and they'd be like, eh?
So,
Like,
Danny, do you have EA access?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Why?
Because if you have EA access, you get access to the first 2 levels of that game when that, what is it, a week before the launch?
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of smart, though, because I was thinking about that. I'm like, hey, can I just play the whole game if I get EA access and play other games too? But if it's only 2 levels, then I'm like, I don't need it.
For that
it's
game
a preview.
specific.
Yeah.
It's for that game specifically. Most other games, you would have 1 week free access all the way. But because it's not something that's along the lines of a 20, 30 hour, game, you're not getting the full release. You'll only get the first 2 levels a week early.
It's a neat system. I'll say this much. I went ahead and tried out a month of the EA access for myself because I liked the fact that it's like Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, all the Dead Space games are on there, The Sims, a couple other things. Basically,
wait, you also have the PC one, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I got the PC one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so because I'm getting my computer, by the time you listen to this, I just wanted to go ahead and have like a library of games to pull from. And the fact that, like Pete said, they're starting to do this preview thing where I already knew I was going to get Unravel day one anyways, but now that I know I'll be able to check out some of the stuff in advance, that gets me excited because, again, it's $5 a month. You can kind of just log in, log out, almost like you would use like GameFly or something to be like, oh, there's something I want to play right now, play for a month, and then, turn it off at the end. So I can definitely see the value already. I'm just curious of how much time and effort they'll put into it versus thinking of it as an afterthought. Because right now, a lot of people would be upset that it's like, oh, why isn't Star Wars Battlefront in here? Why isn't, FIFA 16 or Madden 16 part of this bundle as well? All these games are from at least 2 years ago. So I'm curious, is that going to be the norm? Are these games always going to be 2 years late? Or is this just the starting out and it's going to expand greatly throughout the year? So it remains to be seen. But, as an idea off the ground, I think it's smart. So I'm going to give it a shot and try it out.
All right. And speaking of EA, you guys heard of the situation what happened with Snoop the other day, right?
I heard he was a little upset he couldn't play his online video games.
Yeah, but I'm going to play that out very quick so you guys can hear this.
Better
I'm going to play it right now.
Not safe for work, by the way.
A message to Xbox One or Microsoft or whoever the y'all server is whack, man. Y'all gonna make me switch to PlayStation if y'all don't help me get this shit fixed. It's that difficult to play somebody online. What the is you doing, Bill Gates? Fix your shit, man.
All right, so that was Snoop, pretty pissed. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people got to see that video, and they thought it was right away that it was he was having issues with Xbox Live. But actually, it was an EA game, but I know Snoop doesn't really know which server it is. But that was more EA than Xbox, though, correct? Or what? Not
to say that that Xbox Live didn't have an issue. It just didn't apply, and I believe it didn't apply during his rant. But Xbox Live did have an outage yesterday, and it did last for a couple of hours. So,
it did. Okay, I didn't know that.
So
why he put EA like in Instagram? He put EA in Xbox. I don't know why.
Probably because he was playing an EA game. And at the end of the day, he's if he's playing an EA game, he's obviously gonna shout. He's gonna. And I can't even say shout out because at this point it's a negative shout out, right? He's throwing shade on EA and Microsoft, right? But yeah, it's Xbox Live was having a fundamental network issue yesterday. They fixed it shortly after, but yeah, there was people that were having issues connecting. Snoop was one of them. I'm sorry, he pays $60 just like everybody, like the rest of us. Makes him no more special than us just because he doesn't have to pay the lotto.
That's true.
Yes, I'm jealous.
That's true. All right, by the way, I'm going to play this interview. Patrick, you want to introduce this interview?
What, for Tricky Towers?
Yes, of course.
Oh, yeah.
We'll play right now.
So this is from PlayStation Experience as well. I happened to live back in November in San Francisco. A lot of fun. But this is a game called Tricky Towers. It's from called Studio Weirdbeard. And I interviewed basically the head developer. His name is Niels. And he basically described to me this game as it is Jenga, Smash Brothers, 4 players, Tetris. It's just a ton of fun to play. It's one of those games where basically you want to sit down on the couch with your buddies, have some drinks, and then just laugh at the absurdity that physics plus Tetris blocks make. So check it out, Tricky Towers. Listen to the interview. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it.
All right, so we'll be right back after this.
Voicemail 786-2737-GTR.
Hey, what's up, GTR? Patrick here again. And I got to check out something I'm already a really big fan of. It's called Tricky Towers from Studio Weirdbeard. Joined by my good buddy Niels here. Niels, what do you do on the project?
So I'm the non-developer guy, so I do everything with is not development. I do business, marketing, management, and I still do have some creative input, so that's great.
Excellent. So Tricky Towers, I mean, obviously, the obvious comparison is it's Tetris meets physics meets Jenga. And that all of a sudden, in my mind, it sounds amazing. And then you play it, and it's even better than you could have pictured. What was how did y'all come up with this idea? Like, did y'all bounce this around a couple of times? Or was this kind of like a light bulb moment? It's like, you know what? This would go really well together.
Well, some of my colleagues, years back, they were playing a WarioWare's game where you had to, like, balance stuff. And then it suddenly popped in their heads, was like, what if you mix Tetris with physics, basically? And then, well... that's how the idea. Yeah.
It's a very unforgiving game, too. You might have, like, the best tower in the world, but then, of course, you have the magic system in there, which I really like, and you have it break down into, I think it's when you clear every line, you earn a magic ability. Is that correct?
Yeah, so when you build to a certain height, you will get some magic build up, and you can pick, you can choose to use that magic on your own tower to make it more stable, or you cast a spell on your opponents to... well, try to mess up their towers.
And that's what I like about it is there's variation between them. Like for instance, when you're trying to help yourself, you have the one where you can like the lightning bolt, and you can just like to get rid of the I messed up, I need to get rid of that block, or like you can put the vines, like I need a more stable base to build off of. And I saw one guy had one crazy high tower. He managed to like stop his tower and then start a new tower in the middle of the air. It's crazy. And then you have of course the offensive magic. Can you kind of like run down the gamut of like what kind of spells are available? Like the most crowd pleasing ones you've seen.
Yeah, so for the defensive or the constructional spells, the favorite one is the Petrify brick, which basically when it hits the tower, it stays in the air and will never fall again. So that's the most powerful spell you have available. And for the offensive spells, one of the most funny ones is the Mystery Brick, which turns the bricks of the opponents in like a piano or a windmill. Another one which one of my favorites is the balloon, which just looks very funny, but when you hit the balloon, your bricks will go slower, and it's a race, so you can't build as fast anymore.
Yeah, it seems like you may test some friendships over this game because you might tell someone like, hey, you want to play Tricky Towers? It's like Tetris. They're like, oh, I'm great at Tetris, I'll be great at this, and you can completely be surprised by the level of challenge. So let's start with game modes. We were describing the race mode. Obviously, you're trying to race to a certain height, keep that height, and then you win. Is there another mode besides that?
Yeah, there's like 2 more multiplayer modes. So there's survival mode, which is sort of the last wizard standing. In that mode, you can drop stuff 3 times, and when you've done that, you're out. So it's try to keep on building as long as possible, but it doesn't matter how high it gets. And there's sort of more Zen mode in which you have to stay under a certain height and try to stack as much bricks as possible below that height.
Okay. So obviously, right now for me, 4-player cooperative play, same couch, most fun I've probably had at the show all day. Just because the reactions of people when you use the spells and they encounter them, they're like, "What is going on?" And they have to react on the fly, or the traumatic event. If I had this awesome tower and one mistake, brought the whole thing down, I got to start all over again. Are we gonna have? What are the multiplayer modes like? Is it just split screen? Is it just you have online modes as well?
So it's split screen, but it's both local and online. And next to that, we have a small single-player campaign, so players can get acquainted with all the different spells and try to beat some of the challenges and puzzles we have.
I didn't know there was a single-player component. That's really cool. Man, I can watch people play this game all day. It seems like it's like the ultimate go-to party game. You got friends over, you want to hang out on the couch, you want to play something that's anybody could pick up and play, but you had that competitiveness. So it's just like, oh, I'm going to be better at you at this. But yeah, Tricky Towers, it's a very cool project. Do you have any idea when you might release this?
We tend to release somewhere spring 2016.
Okay. Still working on it right now. So obviously PlayStation 4 is a given. Any other platform that's going to be available on?
Will be PlayStation 4 and Steam.
Okay, PlayStation 4 and Steam. Excellent. Wow. I mean, it looks great right now. I can't wait to see, what extra polish y'all can add between now and the launch date. But, I mean, y'all sold me on this one. I love these styles of a cooperative game. Like you said, the WarioWare comparison. Anytime you get people in the room together and they have all laughing, having fun, you've won, essentially, as a game maker, I feel like. So, Tricky Towers come for Weird Bird Studios coming next year. I wait with bated breath for it, and I wish you best of luck with the rest of the project. Thanks, Niels.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Voicemail 786-2737-GTR.
All right, so we're back. Patrick, great job on the interview.
Thank you.
And we still have more.
So more.
Yeah, we're going to play future episodes and stuff, so stay tuned. So we're going to wrap it up, guys. I think we had a great time here, having a little discussion about different things from the division all the way to Snoop having a bad day with Xbox Live. Head over to GamertagRadio.com or go to Play.it. You can listen to our past episodes right there. And make sure to share with your friends. Spread the word. And give us a call, 786-273-7GTR. That's 786-273-7GTR. Or email us, fanmail@gamertagradio.com. And we're going to be out. Probably going to be playing some Plants vs. Zombies. Going to work for it too. The beta just came out.
Oh, snap.
So download it now. And that's it. We're out. Peace. See you this Thursday.
You're listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks for listening. Tune in next week.